If you manage a home network or a business property, you already know the specific frustration of sitting on hold with a massive telecom provider. The reality of modern property tech often looks exactly like this. You piece together internet from one giant conglomerate, buy security cameras from a separate app-based brand, and hire a third vendor for door access. Managing that fragmentation drains your productivity. You end up juggling multiple long-term contracts, navigating separate billing cycles, and bouncing between technical support queues whenever a single device goes offline. There is an alternative approach, transitioning to an independent local internet service provider that brings your fiber connection, cameras, and physical security all under one unified roof. The trade-off here is straightforward. You give up the perceived safety net of a national brand to get a single, localized vendor that manages your entire ecosystem. This exact level of integration is geographically restricted. It relies entirely on the NetVision communications network spanning Springfield and the wider Southwest Missouri region. Because the infrastructure is local, technicians can deploy enterprise-standard equipment and maintain 99.9% uptime without routing your service requests through a corporate maze. They strip out standard telecom industry practices. There are no long-term commitments and no complex contracts designed to trap you into service. But before you can cut ties with massive telecom, you have to accurately estimate how much bandwidth and security hardware you actually need without falling for the expensive marketing hype. Ultimately, upgrading your property tech requires looking past the marketing for raw speed. It's a shift toward a more stable network that reduces the number of vendors you have to call when something goes wrong. The first decision is selecting an internet speed. Providers aggressively market gigabit connections to everyone, but most households simply do not need that volume. Let's start with a highly cost-effective baseline. NetVision offers a 100 megabit fiber plan starting at $60 a month. This matrix shows how bandwidth maps to reality. The 100 megabit column is engineered specifically for a 1 to 2 person household. At this tier, you have plenty of speed for flawless high-definition streaming on any TV and low-latency gaming on computers simultaneously. The limit on this plan hits exactly when 4 or more people try to stream Ultra HD 4K video at the exact same time. That is where you will finally see buffering. If your home operates at that higher capacity, the 500 megabit plan at $75 a month is the sweet spot. It comfortably handles 3 to 4 heavy internet users without breaking a sweat. Then there is the premium tier, the 1 gigabit plan for $90 a month. Looking back at our comparison matrix, the gigabit column is required for a very specific environment. It provides massive bandwidth for 4 or more users running heavy, simultaneous smart home ecosystems. Buying this tier for basic web browsing is total overkill. Also, maintaining that $90 price requires opting into autopay and paperless billing. Otherwise, you will see a $5 monthly surcharge on your invoice. You can also attach a home landline through a $10 a month Voice over IP add-on. It provides reliable phone service, but it adds permanent overhead for something mobile-first users rarely touch. Matching your household size directly to the correct data tier prevents bottlenecks when you need speed, and it keeps hundreds of dollars in your pocket every year. But high-speed internet is only half the equation for a local business or a high-demand property. You also have to manage physical security. Securing a building means deploying exterior cameras, managing access gates, and tracking electronic door locks. Relying on a patchwork of consumer-grade hardware leaves your network vulnerable. You end up diagnosing camera glitches on one app while trying to reset a locked door on another. The unified solution is to install integrated Pro2Day key access control and camera systems directly through your internet service provider. This diagram outlines how that works. Multiple fragmented hardware systems for doors and cameras are filtered down and controlled through one centralized hub on a single network. You will face a higher initial setup investment to install this commercial-grade equipment. The return on that investment is eliminating the logistical frustration of dealing with 3 different vendors when something goes wrong. And when something does go wrong, you are no longer calling a massive offshore call center. You are talking to local technicians based directly in Springfield. There is an operational trade-off to local support. You are tied to standard operating hours. You get direct help from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. rather than an automated 24/7 hotline. However, that localized interaction means you receive immediate, accountable resolutions from real people in your community who actually understand your geographic layout. True network reliability relies heavily on centralized hardware management and accountable human support, right alongside blazing fast fiber optic cables. So you have a choice to make today, and it comes down to two specific use cases. If you are a budget-conscious residential user looking to cut costs without sacrificing speed, the path is clear. This checklist breaks down the two loadouts. For the budget residential profile on the left, the baseline tier covers everything you need. Sticking with the 100 megabit plan saves you roughly $360 a year compared to gigabit. You just need to manage how many 4K devices run at once. On the right side of the checklist, we have the local business manager or high-demand homeowner. For this profile, bundling gigabit fiber with fully integrated camera and access control systems is the clearest way to guarantee operational security. You commit to a larger upfront infrastructure investment, but you gain a zero-contract, single-company solution that actually scales with your property. The ultimate qualifier for either path is location. To access this level of connectivity and community accountability, your property must fall within the Dallas County and Springfield coverage maps. If you are in coverage, you can finally stop fighting with scattered hardware and distant, frustrating customer service. Moving to a unified, local provider replaces the multi-vendor headache with a single, high-speed utility you can actually trust.